Welcome to the Tuck Shop Podcast. I'm Matt, as always, coming to you from the Johnstown campus of the University of Pittsburgh. Actually, on Wednesday, we're recording. Hi, David. How are you?
Hello, Matthew. How are you?
I'm alive and a little dreary, but considering it's 67 degrees outside, I will take it on the 6th of November.
Finally rained.
It was, yeah, we could use the rain. That'd be good.
It's like farm talk.
So we had two options today. Because 6th of November, we could do a 3-hour deep dive of the election results or something fun. And we decided to do something fun.
Let's just do a shallow dive into 50 years of women's basketball. How
I like
about
the little anecdote. I did get yelled at because I didn't take the I voted sticker because I was just going home and I didn't want to create the garbage. And the poor old guy, I broke his heart. So, but we're going to have some fun today because we are welcoming Jill Halapin and her son Elliot to the show.
Thank you.
Jill and Elliot, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having us. Thanks to Coach Galt for sacrificing me for
You
this.
were put to the altar of this podcast.
I was. I'm still wondering why, but that's good. It's good. I'm happy to be here.
We're glad to have you. Jill, talk about a little bit. First off, of course, you're going to be talking a good bit about your history with the basketball and the things that are coming up with the basketball program and everything else. Talk about your history, though, when you first got here. Why did you come to UPJ, and what did you study?
No, that's an easy call for me as to why I came. I came really quite transparently and truthfully to play for Coach Galt. I followed her from December coming up on campus, and of course seeing the campus was absolutely gorgeous. So that was a bonus for sure. But as soon as I watched the girls play, I watched how Jody coached the girls. I saw the passion behind it. I knew I wanted to be a part of that. And fortunately enough for me as well, the campus, the university, everything, the smallness of it, everything just fit for me. So it still remains outside of my children, the best 4 years of my life. And I'd come back and do it all over again in a heartbeat.
That's great. We will get you an application here before you leave the building.
I mean, to play basketball. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I have room in class if you want to sit in.
No. We'll speak about that maybe, but no.
What did you study?
I studied political science. Yes, and after here, I left here and went into Kirkpatrick and Lockhart downtown and worked as a paralegal. So that was the reason behind that. But then fell in love with coaching right out of college as well and wanted to pursue that path.
It's interesting, especially with the political science and how that does tie in. And most people don't. It's something that we actually never even brought up really well when Dr. Charlene was on, talking about how there is multiple avenues into teaching.
Yes.
From not just the teaching program, but also how you can get to that afterwards. So you would have been here. What time were you time frame were you here as a student?
Yeah, way back, 84 to 88.
84 to 88.
Yes.
So you would have had like Jim Alexander.
I did.
Who's here.
He's still here?
Yes.
Yes.
I saw him this morning.
Really? Yes. I really appreciated him. He's a really good guy.
But that's a really neat generation of time and when campus had just really got its footing as being a 4-year program and all this kind of cool stuff.
Yeah, and I do have to give shout outs to, there were so many supportive professors here on campus for our program. Dr. Capon, he was huge.
Yep, Tony.
Tony was huge. Dr. Grimes.
Carol.
Yep, Carol. She was a huge supporter. And, of course, Dr. Corey. Those were the three that just stood out. And, yeah, they were...
I'm in Bill's office.
Oh,
I took when Bill retired, I came in and took over his intro courses.
Okay.
Yeah, I had Bill for a long time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
3 just outstanding individuals that just supported the women's program to the next level, too. I mean, we would go to them for just about anything academically, which was good. It was a good fallback.
Well, that's great. Before you leave, too, if you don't want to do an application, stop by. I have
Okay.
plenty of leftover files from Bill that you can gladly take a bunch from.
That's wonderful.
No,
Okay.
it's so nice being in there.
I bet.
Beyond academics, though, the basketball. You knew you wanted to play. You said you wanted to play. You wanted to play here. You wanted to play for this team.
Yep.
Why?
Yeah, Jody, what she brought here, just seeing her passion for the game, watching her even before I came here, going to a couple of games and just seeing how hard her team was playing. I wanted to be a part of that. The winning tradition that we're talking about Jody, who came in 1982, I believe. She was like fresh out of college herself, right? She wasn't much older than the seniors of who she was coaching. So, and then by 1988, this is tremendous. By 1988, she was the winningest active coach in Division II, right? 82.5%.
And she was winning big games.
She was winning big games at that point.
She wasn't showing up and
Yeah. And I mean, not just winning, but winning big and winning hard. So the expectations that she had right off the get-go was so obvious and so evident. And I dare say that a lot of players that she recruited could have gone D1 schools. I know our center, Karen Sayers, could have gone to Penn State. She was 6'3", left-handed kid. She was awesome. Could have gone D1, but instead came here. And I think that is true for a lot of the recruits that Jody got. They could have gone elsewhere, but they wanted to come here and they wanted to win. And I think that takes a special coach to be able to draw those kind of athletes.
What was the team like? When you're going through this process? Because we're going to talk a little bit about thinking back and how you ended up and some of those amazing teams and the accomplishments. What's it like in the moment?
Honestly, you don't even think about it in the moment.
Take us to Delta State.
Oh, man.
I mean, because I can remember, in transparency, I too was here during those years. Graduating.
You're going to graduate one day, David. I swear. You're going to get you out of here.
I did graduate back in
You
88,
did, yes.
I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But I remember those, like, how the excitement, again, from the student body side, where it was just, you do that, they just keep going. Keep going. I remember Delta State, who was ranked, one?
First.
Yeah, first, came here to play.
Yep.
And what was it, a 3-point game, 4-point game?
68-63.
Yeah, take us through that.
Yeah. So that was pretty exciting because the game before we had regionals here, and it was it was Millersville, and we barely squeaked that win. In fact, they had the last shot, and it rimmed out. So, on any given day, right? Mm-hmm. So we had to really step up. We knew Delta coming in was the number one team in the country at the time. Fortunately, we got the draw to be at home.
Yeah.
And if you look at that home record, Jody's home record is we just didn't lose here. We didn't lose on our home court. And that game was a tricky game, though. I remember it being, a little back and forth. I was in foul trouble the first half, and it was tricky. But there was never a sense of us not going to pull that game out. We just knew somehow, some way. And then D. Slater.
I wish we would have had a microphone that night.
Oh, yeah.
When it was back and forth.
Back and forth. But we didn't really know we had that game until, maybe I recall 1:03 on the clock. D. Slater comes off the bench and just sinks the biggest free throws. That after that, we all could kind of take a collective sigh. But those were the biggest. Put me on that line at that time, no way. I wouldn't even hit the rim. And Dee just iced through her veins and put that in. But that was an outstanding feeling, I have to say.
So let me ask, that goes back, 30 years, 40 years? You remember, like it was yesterday? What did you have for breakfast?
Like yesterday. What did I have for breakfast? I don't know, but I could tell you we probably all had spaghetti for dinner because we always collected ourselves at one of the places that we lived, and we'd all share a pasta dinner before the game. That's just what we did. We cooked
And then you
it
go
ourselves.
from there. And I think the fans traveled well.
They did.
Went to Springfield. Cal State, what was it, Cal Poly?
Cal Poly Pomona.
Number 1 team in the nation.
Number 1. Had won the previous year,
Yeah.
national champs the previous year. So they had experience.
A little bit.
A little bit. But yeah, I remember that feeling being a little different.
Yeah.
Being a little different than the Delta State game where, yeah, it was just this feeling like, yeah, we're going to win this game.
The second one or the first one?
The first one versus Delta. And then going there, we're just in a big stage. We didn't have any experience in that before. And I think looking on the other side, and their coach, Darlene May, had been there quite several times. Yeah. And just knowing that they had the experience. So I just remember feeling like, let's just hang on. Let's just hang on, And we did. We were up. 10 minutes with 6 minutes left in the game and somehow lost by 2.
Even when you get to that level, does the noise around it fall away when the game starts?
Oh my gosh. You don't even, not just in that type of arena and that type of game, but in every game. You don't even realize it. There could be one person in the stand, there could be thousands. It didn't matter. You're just so focused. Jody just had us so focused. The only thing we heard was her yelling and that whistle of hers that she would make, even to this day. I was downtown and we were in the biome, I don't know, going and watching something, and I heard that whistle, and I looked, and there she was. So it's like an ingrained thing.
Maybe that's a good point while we take a brief second to talk about the upcoming event.
Yeah.
So people know what we're kind of working our way towards.
Sure. I want to talk, leading up to the upcoming event, I want to talk a little bit. I know last Wednesday we talked about the game at the Pete, which was really cool to see about 40 women.
Because you both were able to attend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Had about 40 alum come back. Last year we did the same thing for the men. Again, they played the Panthers. The ladies played the Panthers. The scores, just like that, fades away. That score on the court seems to fade away because you're in the presence of alum that are just they're happy to be there with themselves. So I want to thank everyone that came out last Wednesday. It's kind of cool,
Absolutely.
to get down courtside suite and just kind of hang out and see people that you remembered on the basketball court living real lives.
Yeah.
Little kids and, having
My
to
son
get,
was there.
yeah, having to
You
get
were
home
there.
for Halloween.
Yeah.
And, it was,
Yeah.
it was real life. But I do want to talk and thank everyone that came on for that. Coming up on November 23rd, we'll continue the celebration of 50 seasons. We will have the matchup. It's kind of an event built around a game against Millersville. So at noon, we'll do a kind of a meet and greet with alum. We've got about 90 alum coming back for that already in the Hall of Fame room. There's still time to register. I'll give you an address, and Matt can throw it down below in the comments. So we're going to start off with kind of a alumni meet and greet, hangout before the game. Then 1 o'clock, the women are taking on Mansfield University. And again, I think we've got about 90 or so people coming to that. So that should be pretty exciting. And then the big thing, 4:30 post-game reception, dinner and program. I think you've been, again, sacrificed to be part of that program.
I think so too. Yeah. I don't know how this happens.
We won't give any of that away, but still time to register. www.johnstown.pit.edu/celebrating-50.seasons. Excuse me. And you can also follow it on our Alumni Association Facebook page or LinkedIn page, and I know that the Lady Cats alumni page, UPJ alumni page, has been pushing it. But if you haven't gotten a ticket yet, get a ticket, come out. Seriously, I say this about a lot of things we do here in Institutional Advancement, Alumni Relations. You don't want to miss this. It should be a pretty cool event. So looking forward to it. I always say it. It was interesting at last Wednesday's game. How appreciative the women that showed up were. Mm-hmm. But I just kind of hold up a mirror and say how appreciative we are that the alumni come out.
Yeah.
To do things from, an alumni engagement takes both sides. Yeah. So, coming out to that event, coming out to the big event on the 23rd, it gets kind of boring if alum don't show up. Yeah. So we appreciate that. If you have any questions, problem registering, give me a call, 814-269-2081 or DGJ, the number 7 at pitt.edu. We'll get you. I know we had a couple of problems last weekend, but I think we straightened it all out. So it should be a good time. Looking forward to it. The 23rd.
Yeah, good. And I just want to interject on, the excitement of this from college teammates that I'm in touch with and talking with is really phenomenal. We can't wait to get back on campus. Can't wait to just reminisce about all those times. So we are very appreciative of you putting this together and having.
And I want to
this
encourage.
event.
I have the guest list in front of me. You're right. It reads a who's who to some of that. Lady Cat basketball, but also that Final Four team. But I want to also encourage younger alum.
Absolutely.
Come on out. Take advantage of this. To be. I don't want to. Hero worship and say to be in the presence. I don't want to say in the presence of greatness. I want to say in the presence of experience. Not only the experience on the hardwood, but the experience afterwards. I know you left. It's kind of interesting because you've coached at quite a few different high schools in the area. So you took that love of basketball beyond and coached at quite a few places. So I think some of the younger alum and guests. To come and be in the presence of that experience.
Yeah.
Good time, good food. Before the game, during the game, we want to hear you guys get loud.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
For sure. And again, I think that just speaks volumes to the program. You can't have success without that connection, without that bond. That's the big word going around in basketball is culture, right? We've got to look at culture and what does that really equate to? And that was just really, to me, it was just all about committing to each other, committing to your coach, caring enough. And then that is where the connection came. And you'll see that with all these numbers coming back. Yeah. I mean, it was a great connection. We all lived together. We all ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. It was a tight-knit group, and I can only imagine that even after us, that continued. So it's good to see so many alum coming back.
And even prior to the years you were here, I know I spoke with an alum, that we probably spoke on the phone 45 minutes, and she just reminisced about being here in the 70s and getting in cars and driving to games for Title IX. And, suiting up in the car, playing St. Francis, getting back in the car and driving. And those were pioneers that, you look back, what was the program built on? It was built on not only the commitment of the student, but the commitment of the university.
Absolutely.
To include women's sports.
Absolutely.
You've got to look at where women's sports, look at WNBA now. I don't know when you were playing if you ever thought there would be such a thing, or if you said that's only a matter of time. Or
yeah, well, when I came out, actually, they were talking about a WABA.
Okay.
That was a year after I came out. And from what I understand of it, they had TV contracts, they had a couple of teams going, and then one pulled out, and then it all crumbled before it even had a chance, any foundation.
I think the Detroit Tropics were part of that, weren't they?
I don't know. Were they? Sure. Okay, that would have been cool. Yeah, so to see where women's basketball is now is just absolutely exciting. In fact, we were at the Final Four, my family and myself, and it was just the wildest crowd. They were totally packed, totally filled. Everybody
Division
screaming.
One?
This was Division One. Yeah, everybody with their Iowa gear, their South Carolina gear. I mean, we saw players there. So the game is in good hands. There's no doubt. Yeah.
And you've seen that continue. You talked about coaching, and you've kept that passion going. You've seen that, been able to. What's that mean to be able to instill that and those qualities that you picked up here in your players?
Yeah, it's big. It's big. I'm coaching now at Swickley Academy. Elliot is on the 8th grade team there, and he has told me that he wants to come to Pitt Johnstown. He wants to play here, and he wants to wear number 50, which was my number. So, Rob, you're listening, right?
What's it like playing for your mom?
It's great. She's taught me like my whole game.
Yeah.
Just want to play one game at a time. Good God willing, he's got his interview down, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, coaching, if you look back at a lot of us are coaching. A lot of us that came through this program are coaching.
Why do you think that is?
The passion, the love of the game, the knowledge that Jody was able to give us. We felt pretty confident to
Just
to
never
take
left you, left all of you.
Never left. No.
Let me ask a question. We had Jen Toscano on last week, and she talked about that same coaching player. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked her.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy more, coaching or playing?
Playing.
That's
Playing,
a
hands
universal
down.
answer.
Yeah, hands
I think it's a
down.
layup, if I might use a term.
Yeah. I mean, as a coach, you just don't have. You think you have the control because you're out there and you're teaching them the game, but in reality, you really have no control. And as a player, you just know you just got to lace them up and go out and get it done.
That's more in your hands, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm assuming you two have played more than your fair share of basketball.
Against each
Yeah,
other?
against each other?
Oh, she doesn't even want to go against me.
I don't.
okay.
Well, he's 6'2". I'm a bad need. Player.
Champions don't come from excuses.
Maybe in my younger days. How about that? In my younger days, when I could withstand, but man,
You probably
I can't
smoke.
even- I might. I don't know.
Who has the car keys is my question. that
I do. Yeah.
that kind of played into
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
the long
Who's gonna?
walk back to Cranberry huh?
That is very.
with bowling pins.
Yeah, no, I'm very proud of him. He's a hard worker already. He takes his game very seriously.
What are you looking at studying, Elliot?
I haven't really thought about that. I just know I want to play basketball.
Attaboy.
Well, we have some programs we'd like to talk to you about before you leave as well. I'm going to get somebody to sign up through this podcast. I swear to God. But that's going to be so neat to be able to kind of see that next generation. I'm a legacy student scholar employee on top of it as well, and it's kind of been it's nice to have that dynamic. And there's several of us on campus that have that kind of background and history, and I'll tell you, it's very special for both of you. So you're gonna kind of have that connection and as well, and you kind of I don't have it from the parental experience, but I do have it from what you'll have, and it's neat.
Oh,
it's really
good.
neat.
Okay, very good. Yeah, that's why he's here. I thought, hey, come on up. Let's take a look. Let's walk the campus. He couldn't wait to get into the gym, so he's already been in there, worked up a good sweat. So we'll head back when we're done here.
Here's an easy as obvious question. I think, maybe, not sure. So 23rd, what's the biggest thing you're looking forward to? And who do you want to see?
Oh,
who's
man.
the one that that person comes into the sports center? It's like,
honestly,
I don't know if it's a fair question.
no,
It's
I-
not.
Yeah,
Is there
it's
someone?
very unfair. No, well, we have the opportunity to see each other.
Yeah, I mean, but is
You
there
know.
someone you haven't seen? Every reunion is that.
Wow,
We haven't seen you in 30 years. Nobody like that?
Wow, I mean,
Can you give me the guest list?
Give me the guest list. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Final Four team actually got together. I'm going to say 10 years ago, And we kind of recreated a picture even. So from that team, we've been together. So, oh, wow, you have a lot of people here. Again, a lot of these people we see a lot of them. I mean, Mindy coming up, let's not forget.
Yeah,
let's not forget Mindy as National Player of the Year.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't come out of out of anything but a gold standard program, right?
Right.
So I understand she'll be up. That'll be exciting to see her. You know, I really think that it's going to be hard to keep us off the court when you look at this at that list for sure. You know, we're going to want to have a good game of horse or knockout, right?
We may have to reinstate Mr. Grady to come back.
Yeah, don't look for us to go up and down the court for sure, but
the old
a little game of pig.
Chevy Suburban or whatever they used back then to keep the cats off the court.
Yeah, maybe. But no, honestly, it's just going to be so much fun, and so it's just going to be absolutely fantastic to see everybody here. Really will be. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
That's good to hear.
No, these are the events that mean and the work that the Alumni Association has done. Certainly, David and his folks in the office. These groups, we all have these connections, and they're all special in kind of their own unique ways. Yeah. And it's kind of weird how they sometimes all overlap at the same time too. How I did not anticipate having a discussion about Bill Corey today during this basketball. But at the same time, it's like that's how this community is. It's just all these different pieces and kind of click in together, and it's really special. So it's an event we're looking for, and we're glad we can.
But I think that's the best thing about getting alumni back together.
Yeah.
Because somebody will say something, remember that time when you, and you don't know what's going to come next.
Exactly.
Exactly. Good thing, a bad thing, and it's always that, like, who remembers that?
Yeah, and what's also very, very cool is that there are so many players on that list that my class of Lil Baptiste, Dee Slater, Sally Mose, and myself never played with, but yet we know them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? We know them, and we see them, and we know about their journey, and we embrace them. Like, it's, I don't want to go so far as to say it's family, sisterhood. When we were here, absolutely. But to go beyond that, it is a family. No matter if you've played together or earlier or later, it's just the vibe.
Now, quick question. Of that group, nobody was transferred in, nobody transferred out.
Oh, gosh, no.
Everybody came in and stuck and stayed.
Yeah.
I mean, because I know the word, families sounds somewhat cliche-ish.
Yeah, it does.
So overused. Mm-hmm. But you're right. And I think that's, again, I'm sure anybody that works in alumni relations will say this about their program, but there is that sense when people come back, whether it's a small group, a large group. I mean, this is going to be a considerably large group as there's still time left to register. But there's just that sense of, any place this could have happened. It happened here.
It happened here.
Pitt Johnstown.
Yeah.
When you look back in the day, in the 80s, this campus was only less than 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And here now we're looking at 50 seasons, double that.
Yeah.
Looking at, it's kind of become of its own.
Yeah.
But back then it was, whenever you said the word Pitt Johnstown,
yeah,
it just was. It was a little different cachet.
Yeah.
A different meaning.
Yeah, for sure. But when you go through life, and we're on the older end of life now, you start to realize that it is all about relationships, is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, what is those quality relationships that you've built? And I always fall back to this time. These were quality relationships that were built and have sustained a lifetime.
Yeah.
And then that's really and I think that's the good point, and that's the thing that's really the only thing that can last. Mm-hmm. We can't. They would probably, the three of us, you would look right at ease and being youthful, and you would go right into a class. But the three of us would probably draw some attention if we went into a random class and sat down here. You talk about not being able to run up and down the court anymore. The relationships, though, those don't age out.
No, they do. They do not.
Time doesn't wear those joints down.
It doesn't. And it's so good to know that at any given time, I could call on any of them. If I had any need for them, any need of advice, they would be probably the first people, because they know me the best. They've been with me for a long time, which is really, really cool when you think about it.
I think it's going to be a great event. David, if somebody hasn't registered yet, and they want to, again, when is it and how do they get here?
Okay, so it's, again, November 23rd. The whole celebration gets underway at noon down at the Sports Center. Last till well after 4:30 with the reception. www.johnstown.pitt.edu /celebrating-50-seasons. Even easier, email me dgj7 at pitt.edu or give me a phone call 814-269-2081. It's on the Pitt Johnstown website. It's on our Facebook alumni Facebook page. It's on the LinkedIn page. It's on the basketball alumni page. It's really everywhere. It's hard if you miss this and it's November 24th and you said I didn't know about it. I think Coach Galt might have something to say about that because
I think so.
you weren't listening to the pregame, were you? Because it's out there. We're happy to do this. It gives, I think, everyone here a charge when you see a room full of alum just being alum. If a basketball game breaks out, so be it.
We can handle that.
Yeah, it might.
Jill, Elliot, thank you both for coming. I
thank
think
you.
you've been incredibly patient. You want to get back to the basketball court.
Yeah.
He does.
Thank you both for coming
Thank
and
you,
being
Matthew,
on the show.
David, appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Thank
We're
you.
glad you were sacrificed to the podcast.
Well, I
gods.
know. I'm going to have to, we're going to have to talk about that. Okay, thank you,
David,
guys.
have a great week. Everyone,
Thank you,
we
Matthew.
will talk to you next Wednesday. The Tuck Shop podcast is recorded live on the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown campus. Update your contact information with us by visiting johnstown.pitt.edu/alumni. Connect with us online via Facebook and LinkedIn, or consider donating to the university at that's giveto.pitt.edu/giveupj.
This has been a production of Quantum Wave Media. Views expressed do not necessarily reflect the opinion of the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown.